Masterful production, eye candy, makes you thank God for the gift of sight. Stunning work, unique, and most importantly, with a clear identity. From Season 1 under director Sang-woo Park, a veteran when it comes to crafting high-precision fight scenes, fluid, top-tier action, smooth animation that refreshes your pupils. And unfortunately, that was the only positive. God bless him, honestly. He did his job perfectly. But if there's room to level up, why not? Season 1 suffered from several problems. Super basic art direction, soulless work, poor compositing, the backgrounds don't keep up with character movement. Normal scenes stay just normal scenes, when they could have been more lively and memorable through creative angles, a color palette fitting the scene's mood, dark, bright, whatever. You could even add character acting if you want. This is exactly what Sang-woo Park lacked as a director. His philosophy was limited to action quality only, and that philosophy is outdated now. Judging a full anime production's quality based on a smooth fight scene while ignoring everything else, that's a fatal mistake. It's not just about animation, it's about all the other elements, and that's exactly my biggest issue with Season 1. In Season 2, those mistakes were avoided under the talented director Gojo Ono. The anime finally got its own magic and actually gained a distinctive identity in terms of atmosphere, background quality, creative angles, and when you have a clear identity, criticism piles up, even if it's undeserved, and that can be explained by a large chunk of fans not being familiar with production aspects. Any reasonable person knows the Season 3 premiere is a cinematic masterpiece that delights the eyes, pleases the sight before the sound, the eye before the ear, an episode above the level. Cinematography worthy of a movie, not a weekly episode. No wonder it was shown in theaters. And most importantly, innovation. Otherwise, Gojo Ono wouldn't be so chill. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't appreciate this due to weak understanding of production and directing aspects. No blame on them, blame those who turn positives into negatives. Episode 1 starts with a genius silent scene, a symbolic scene of Yuji washing his stained hands, blood that refuses to go away. His guilt still haunts him, because what Sukuna did in Shibuya, he now sees himself as the real doer. And that's 100% human behavior. It would have been really bad if he handled it coldly like some sudden maturity. What Shibuya left behind isn't easy, and mature events are very welcome. Super happy the vibe wasn't broken by stupid comedy scenes. Plus, the opening scene was genius in several ways. The Yuta Yuji scene as a hook, with a background perfect for your desktop wallpaper. Then the anime title appears to pull you right into the mood. I can't describe it except as supernatural. The directing method is unnatural, pure creative stuff, and it didn't even need to be that amazing, but Gojo Ono doesn't settle for normal scenes. The scene was set up from the start, from Noya entering the room. The massive punch caused shaking, moved the lamp, so the lighting movement was used to move the shadows and create a tension-charged scene, with the Zenins listening to the speech like ferocious beasts. This is Gojo Ono. He doesn't rest until he turns a normal scene into something iconic. After the destruction left behind by the Shibuya epic, Jujutsu Kaisen had nothing left but to build a dystopian world as a natural result of what happened, and it was achieved. Gojo Ono succeeded in translating this idea. Destroyed houses, scattered scenes, and even during fights, we see abandoned trucks that lost their value. Yuji's fight against the curses was some of the best. Dynamic running on the bridge, multi-layered hand-drawn explosion, camera fixed on the curse flying next to buildings, blood splattered on the virtual camera lens, curse limbs flying, stuff words fail to describe. We see Yuji's physical strength development as he rips out a tooth from its place like Kratos facing a giant. As for the curses, they didn't settle for animating 1 or 2, but more than 6 curses, each with a different design and unique movement style. One running on all fours, one on 2 legs, one flying, all with smooth, convincing animation. The action scenes were excellent overall, especially Novia Zenin's clashes, his fighting style based on chain punches, continuous strikes that constantly pressure the opponent without giving them a chance to respond, a style known in Kung Fu. There were no real production or animation problems, but a style not a problem. And that's a big difference. I might agree with some that the flood scene was chaotic and hard to follow, but that chaos was intentional, okay? A massive wave of blood flooding the entire tunnel and a person trying to survive. Chaos here was the perfect solution. Episode 2 had some directing slits. If we even consider them problems, they didn't affect the experience much. Like the quick cuts between scenes, especially in Yuji versus Yuta fight. The cuts were too fast and hard to process. Also, the animation was somewhat limited. I wished for better animation, and that's desirable, not required. Also, Yuji and Megumi's dialogue with that weird zoom was annoying, honestly. But still, everything mentioned is just minor slips, like a needle in a haystack of positives. In Episode 3, Tengen meets Tokyo Jujutsu sorcerers and reveals Kenjaku's evil plan and explains the execution game. The episode stood out with dynamic and innovative drawing style. The team used interactive visual effects to present the massive info dump, like representing the explanation through in-scene diagrams and charts, making the dialogue-heavy episode more lively. The animators used red lines, style, and part of the scene to reflect the spiritual dimensions in Tengen's space. Plus, the episode had masterful cinematic shots, like lighting Shoko's cigarette and framing Takaba, adding an artistic dimension. These small visual details enhance the episode's atmosphere and give it greater dramatic depth. In Episode 4, Goshozono went full insane, gave us directing masterpieces you'll never forget. Maki's group battle against hundreds of clan soldiers was shot with stunning violence and efficiency, used slow-motion shots to highlight every bloody strike, polished with artistic effects inspired by director Kurosawa's style in depicting flowing blood. On top of that, the scene turned black and white as a visual homage to the famous Kill Bill series, giving it prominent cinematic flair. The red lighting and striped shadows exaggerated the blood in a shocking way. The screen turning black and white was a smart artistic choice that boosted tension and violence. The episode delivered visually stunning fight scenes that can be described as some of the best the anime has offered in all its seasons, stuff rivaling the insane Sukuna versus Maharaga fight. Episode 5 was a mix of sadness and rebellion. The episode stood out with high fluid movement and attention to innovative visual details, like a gift for our eyes. The directing made Yuji and Fushiguro's walking dialogue dynamic, showing Yuji's footsteps and him hitting with iron bars as a gesture expressing his energetic personality. And in the scene that caused the biggest buzz, Goshizono used the trick of trapping the camera inside the room with them to make us feel like Yuji is really trapped under Hikari's dominance and leaked to us viewers a general feeling of tightness and suffocation under the dim lighting of the place. The episode boldly relied on rotoscoping technique in this scene, a technique that often sparks controversy in the anime world, but Goshizono used it masterfully here to capture small human movements. Yuji appears in this scene speaking with hesitant body language weighed by guilt, while Hikari shows as the dominant person, moving with complete ease and confidence. Neon lights were used in the secret club to build tension, while interior scenes were naturally or effectively dimly lit, making the shift from Yaga's calm scene to the exciting fight arena tangible. The visual design relied on cold and pulsing color palettes together, distinguishing the realism of official Jujutsu world from the chaos of the secret club, without clutter or excess overlap. Season 3 won huge admiration among Jujutsu Kaisen fans and also unjust harsh criticism from haters saying production quality wasn't up to par, describing it as weird on the basis that anything weird is bad. They see character acting, CGI, and creative angles as directing flaws and wrong animation methods from the animators. They hate innovation and change and how they love repetition and mediocrity. If you try to bring something new, they'll reject you because you brought what the predecessors didn't. And this is the case with the anime audience.